Hello everyone, welcome back to another Commander review for Magic the Gathering. Today, we are still in the Betrayers of Kamigawa set, and we are almost done with the set. We are talking about Sakiko, Mother of Summer, so another snake legend, which I'm very excited to talk about. One quick thing before we get into it. When you are watching this video, it's probably going to come a little bit later than you are hoping, which I apologize for, and I thank you for your patience. Trying to catch up on work has been really difficult because work has been non-stop this month. And I have been working very crazy hours, and I'm trying to get on top of the hours that I'm spending at work by trying to spread out the number of videos that I have. So my goal is, just as a heads up for everyone, I'm going to be releasing my Let's Play videos, and then right after those will be my Commander review videos for Magic. And then I will do that until I can get enough space where I feel comfortable that I can get on top of the videos again, because I'm pretty sure that in August I will also be quite busy with my next client after my current client leaves the building. So, with that said, I'm going to try and get on top of videos as best as I can. However, that might mean that I stack the videos along each other rather than Let's Play and a Commander review right on top of each other. So, when I get caught up, then we'll get back to Let's Plays and Commander reviews coming out at the same time kind of routine, like I have been doing, which is what I would prefer to do. But in the meantime, we're going to do this for now, and I thank you guys for your patience. And also, by the time you're watching this, it is very slow. I'm going to go as fast as I can, so bear with me. But I am starting to do deck lists for this series. A lot of you guys have been requesting it. I might shrink down the number of deck lists I do. Right now I've been doing all 3 deck ideas for each of the videos, and I'm afraid that's just going to take forever for me to do. And that's also considering the fact that I'm only doing approximately 30-ish cards for each deck list, and I can talk about that in a future video if you guys ask about it enough, and if you want to know why. I can get into that. Because there is a reason for why I'm doing approximately 30 cards plus a few lands for the deck lists. However, I'm not going to save that for this video because I've already gone long enough. Let's get into this Commander review for Sakiko, Mother of Summer, who is a legendary snake shaman. It is a 3/3. It has a mana value of 6, 4 generic, and 2 green mana. It has a triggered ability. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, add that much green mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So, essentially, until your turn ends, you have lots of green mana equal to the damage step. This equal to the combat damage that your creatures deal to your opponents, which is really, really cool. You could think of this as like a lower powered, oh gosh, what's that dragon called? From Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. You guys know which one I'm talking about. Legendary green dragon, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you make that many treasure tokens. This is a less powerful version of that ability, but still really cool, and we're going to find fun ways to take advantage of that. So first off, there's no card rulings with this commander. Just be mindful that in order to get that green mana, you have to deal combat damage to a player. So it doesn't work for outside of combat damage related stuff, so no pingers, and it doesn't work against planeswalkers. Jumbo Cactuar is a creature I picked to synergize with this. Final Fantasy has recently come out by the time this video comes out. We're getting closer to Edge of Eternities probably by the time this video comes out, but I haven't seen any spoilers yet. So, Jumbo Cactuar fantastic creature. If you're able to deal the 10,000 damage to your opponent and then get 10,000 green mana, that would be absolutely bonkers, which is why I picked this card to go with it, because you could essentially do whatever you want if you have the proper engine built for it, which I think is fantastic. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. The deck idea that I am building around for this commander is, of course, Snake Tribal. Lots of snakes. We're going to go wide with snake tokens and give them awesome abilities and make them really strong with Snake Lords. And then, of course, with the boosts that our commander gives us, if we go wide with snakes, we should be able to ramp pretty efficiently with this deck, which I'm excited for. A popular deck idea on EDH Rec is the traditional stompy green strategy. You want big creatures that can trample over things, deal as much damage as you can to your opponents, get that mana back for your second main phase, and then play more big things to prep against your opponents, because you will be a threat at the table if you go with this strategy. And then lastly, it will be a much more difficult build around. This idea kind of comes from the Patron of the Orochi strategy, where the Patron can allow you to untap all your forests and creatures that you can use to ramp and cast big spells with on your opponent's turn. So it was kind of this weird mono green flash and instant tribal deck. This deck is going to take on that same concept, but in a different way. You're going to play more aggressively, where you're going to need to deal combat damage to your opponents. But then in doing so, you're going to be able to ramp out a bunch of mana that you can use for your turn. This deck, I think, will struggle the most with this idea, however, because when you compare this to the Orochi Patron, who can untap itself on each of your opponent's turns, and you can actually cast things on your opponent's turn. This commander, Sakiko, does not do that. I think the way you want to play Sakiko versus Patron of the Orochi is Sakiko, you spend your combat phase getting the mana you need from your creatures without using your mana rocks and your lands. Then on your post-combat main phase or your second main phase, play your spells with the mana you make from combat, and then leave all your mana rocks and lands untapped, so then you can play more stuff on your opponent's turn. So a much slower gameplay than how you would do it with the Patron of the Orochi. However, I think you could achieve a similar outcome, which I think I would love to hear you guys' comments about, because playing a draw-go mono-green deck does intrigue me greatly. And that is going to do it for Sakiko, Mother of Summer. Kind of in closing with this video, as always, there is a lot of deck ideas for this commander that you can find on EDH Rec, which is the biggest source of information that I get when making these videos. So because of the number of decks you can build with this commander, it does have the rank of S, because there are a lot of different ways, as I said, you can build with this commander. This whole series is about opening players' minds to new opportunities, to new deck ideas that they can play to enhance and enrich their experience at the table with their friends, or their local LGS. The other thing I want to mention in closing with this video is, like I said, there's a lot of changes coming. I really appreciate your guys' patience. Deck lists are slowly being added to videos, and I've gone all the way back to the very first set, Legends, where this series began, and I've been adding deck lists to that. For the first couple of videos, I've been doing 3 deck lists, because that's how I've been doing all these videos, is 3 different deck ideas that you could build from. However, that does take a lot of time. So maybe what I might have to do is just kind of do one deck idea and then go back and maybe do another one. I'm not sure right now, but right now it is kind of a slow process, and there are hundreds of videos in this series already. So to try and catch up on that is a very daunting task. And I'm going to do what I can to catch up on it, but hopefully you should be able to start going back to some of those other older videos that you wanted a deck list for, and you should start seeing deck list ideas for that. One of the other things I might try with, all of Legends, I will do the way I've been doing, where it's 3 separate deck lists. However, one of the other ideas I might try in the next set is I'll just do one deck list with all the cards for each deck idea in that deck list outlet, and I'll try and find a way where I can organize it. This is all stuff for this deck idea, this is all stuff for this deck idea, this is all stuff for this deck idea, but in a way where they're all on one link. So that way I don't have to make 3 different links for you to go to. And then from there, we'll see where we go. If I feel like I can't do that in a timely manner, then maybe I'll just do 1 deck list at a time or 2 deck lists. We'll see what happens. But go ahead, start heading back to Legends, work your way through the videos, and you should start being able to see deck lists for those decks. If you have questions about those deck lists, feel free to ask about them, and I might make another video about it in the future. And then one of the other things that's going to happen is that after this set, and I get into the Saviors of Kamigawa set, I'm going to make another change to the series as a whole. I'm going to try and make it a little faster, a little shorter, and really hone in on what I want this series to be about, which is, what is this commander, what does it do, and how does it work? So that way I can properly build a deck around it and play with it properly. And then I will add a few deck ideas at the end of the video, but I really want the meat to be, what is this commander and how does it work, with a few deck ideas as a bonus to the video. So I'm going to make a change in Saviors of Kamigawa to make them a little shorter and a little bit more honed in on just talking about what the commander is and how it works. And then lastly, of course, like I said, thank you guys for your patience. I know you've already watched Let's Play videos before watching these, but I'm going to get on top of videos and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled outputs for these videos. But in the meantime, go ahead, go back and enjoy some of those older videos. Go check out the deck lists. Let me know what you guys think about these deck lists, and what you guys may want to add, what you may want to do differently with this commander. Let me know in the comments below. Ask me any questions you have, and of course, thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!